So, I have a channel announcement that I will be putting post-credit today. Hey, it's me again, the black screen with the gray line. For whatever reason, the goddamn gray line's there. I've been getting more and more subscribers, and the more and more subscribers I get, you know, I look at the analytics and I try to see what's going on and try and see what you guys want and try and give you what you want. I've noticed that if I get, say, 5 subscribers in a day, 1 or 2 of them are gonna be unsubscribers the same day. So I was thinking it was weird that I was getting subscribers and losing subscribers at the same time. And I started thinking about it, and my delve into my subscribers the other day to see what you guys are doing out there, to see if I can kind of maybe tailor some content towards, I don't know, an average like that I notice as a random thing, whatever. I don't know. But I looked through it and I realized that most of you guys are coming here from the Onision videos. And that's fine. And fuck Onision. But I don't want to be the fuck Onision channel. Some people are going that route and they're not losing subscribers near the pace that I am. They're actually way out gaining me. But I can't do that. I can't just be one thing. That's why I left doing video games. I can't just do one thing. I can't do it. So I do a lot of politics and a lot of my own social commentary and stuff like that. Some of you agree with that and some of you don't. And I'm beginning to realize that the reason why some people aren't agreeing with me on some things but are on others is because Onision and pedophilia in general, that kind of unites all the sides. You know, it's agreeable between all people that disagree that one thing is horrible. So some of you might be coming here thinking that maybe I'm more liberally leaning or something like that, and you're very wrong. But for people who choose to subscribe to me, I want to make entertainment that you're going to enjoy. You're supporting me, and so I'm going to do what I can for you. And if you subscribe to me and you have a channel that you're trying to work on, I'm happy to subscribe to you. If you support me, I'm happy to support you. But my goal here is to combat bullshit. So if you're gonna subscribe to me because I don't like Onision for whatever reason, but you're gonna pump out kind of bullshit on your channel, all you're doing is making it easier for me to find you. That's it. So bear that in mind. I'm not trying to dissuade people from subscribing to me, and I'm not trying to dissuade people from having other opinions. Please don't get me wrong. When people have other opinions, that gives me stuff to do. I think that's great. But if you're going to subscribe to me, just be aware that if you're going to have other opinions than mine, it just makes it that much more likely I'm going to find you. But I'll be nice about it because you're a subscriber. So the video that I saw was about, it was very anti-Trump, anti-the wall, and all that shit. And it came off very ignorant. And I don't mean that as a fuck you ignorant. I mean that as just an uneducated ignorant. It's easy for people to let other people to do their research and form their opinions for them. That's easy. It's hard to do your own research and figure out what you really think is going on. So, again, that's why I'm here. To provide you with material that you can peruse so that you can decide for yourself what you want to believe. But I provide the material I provide because I believe it to be the most insightful opinions that I can find. So, to go on to deal with the wall and Donald Trump, the main problem with the wall is immigration. Primarily illegal immigration. But illegal immigration is illegal. It's a crime, and it needs to be punished as a crime. I don't think many people can really dispute that. This is what it is. But speaking of immigration in general, and I did a video on this kind of before, Donald Trump is the President of the United States of America. And it's his responsibility to protect and help the people of the United States of America. It isn't America's responsibility to help everybody else in the world. And if it were, we couldn't. Let me show you an example of this.
This gumball represents the 1 million legal immigrants that the United States has taken every year on average since 1990. Now, who in the world deserves our humanitarian compassion? The World Bank has one measure of the desperately poor of the world. They make less than $2 a day. And how many people make less than $2 a day in the world? Well, let's start with Africa. In Africa alone, there are 650 million people who make less than $2 a day. 650 million. And in India, another 890 million people, desperately poor. China adds another 480 million people, making less than $2 a day. And unfortunately, the rest of Asia has a heartbreaking 810 million people who the World Bank says make less than $2 a day. And finally, there's 105 million of Latin America's population that are desperately poor. All told, the World Bank says there are 3 billion people in the world. 3 billion people who are desperately poor, making less than $2 a day. That's 3,000 gumballs. And every year, we take 1 million and suggest that we've somehow made a humanitarian difference. Of course, we don't pull our immigrants from these desperately poor populations, do we? These people are too poor, too sick, too disconnected to make it here as immigrants. We tend to pull our immigrants out of the better off poor of the world. And Mexico tends to define the type of immigrant that we bring here because the plurality of people come from Mexico. And Mexico is poor. How many people in the world live in countries that have average incomes lower than that of Mexico? And the World Bank tells us that that number is these 3 billion plus another 2.6 billion people. 5.6 billion people in the world who live in countries with average incomes below that of Mexico. That's 5,600 gumballs. And so what is it that the elites are telling us? They're telling us that when we take this 1 million immigrants, that we somehow or another are tackling world poverty. Double our immigration to 2 million a year. We couldn't make a noticeable difference. And we may be really hurting the impoverished people of the world because the million that we do take are among the most energetic, often the better educated, certainly the most dissatisfied people that if they did not immigrate would be the agents for change to improve the lot of all the people in these countries. The true heroes in the global humanitarian field are the people in these countries who have the wherewithal to immigrate to another country, but instead stay in their countries to apply their skills to help their fellow countrymen. Unfortunately, our immigration system tends to entice these very type of people to abandon their countrymen. The impossibility of making even a dent is actually worse than it looks here. Because last year, when we took 1 million immigrants, these countries added, births over deaths, 80 million more people into the impoverished populations. And this year, Congress is bringing in 1 million legal immigrants. And this year, according to the United Nations, these countries are expected to add another 80 million people. And next year, you can be quite sure that Congress will bring in another 1 million immigrants. And these countries, unfortunately, will be adding another 80 million people into these impoverished nations. We could take 5 million a year, but we'd never get ahead of what's happening in these countries. Not in this century. Don't you see? Immigration can never be an effective or significant way to deal with the suffering people of the world. They have to be helped where they live. 99.9% of them will never be able to immigrate to a rich country. There's no hope for that. They have to bloom where they're planted. The only place that 99.9% of these people can be helped is where they live. Let's help them there.
We can't take care of everybody, and we've been trying to for too long. We have our own problems in America with unemployment. We have our own problems with poverty. We need to fix our shit first. Then maybe we can worry about other people. But it's President Trump's job to worry about us first. That's just simply fact. We police the world, we try and provide for the world, and we're failing. We can't make a dent, but we can help ourselves here. Is the wall going to fix the problems? No. But it's going to be one more obstacle that people have to overcome in order to get here. It isn't a perfect solution, but there just isn't one. We can't just close our borders to everybody. We have money that's stocked into tourism and stuff like that. But we can't just let everybody come here and just not integrate into our society, accept welfare and other government support, and not pay taxes, and send their money back home to people back home out of this country. And it doesn't help us, and it doesn't work. Donald Trump spoke about Mexico when he was talking with Theresa May, and I think that that's an important clip to show as well.
But I will say that we had a very good call. I have been very strong on Mexico. I have great respect for Mexico. I love the Mexican people. I work with the Mexican people all the time. Great relationships. But as you know, Mexico, with the United States, has out-negotiated us and beat us to a pulp through our past leaders. They've made us look foolish. We have a trade deficit of $60 billion with Mexico.
Let's say that he's half full of bullshit. Let's say it's only $30 billion that we have a trade deficit with in Mexico. And let's say through renegotiations of deals and other sorts of political maneuverings, we can only get half of that money back. $15 billion. They're saying that the wall is going to cost anywhere from $15 to $20 billion to make. So when Donald Trump says he's going to make Mexico pay for that wall, and Mexico says we're not paying for that wall, if we can fix the deficit of trade between our countries, that'll pay for the wall. Even if we only get 1/4 of what Donald Trump said right there. Think about that. That's them paying for the wall. So there you go. Now, this is a video addressing a subscriber of mine, and I see this as a delicate topic. I don't want to start attacking people who want to support me. I think that's just fucking stupid. But I'm here to combat bullshit and help people see truth and fact. And I do the best of it I possibly can. And if you want to disagree with me or dispute me, I fully encourage that. That's how I learn. That's how I've gotten to the point where I am. That's why it's so easy for me to fuck up so many people, because they just aren't using good points. But consider this a shot over the bow. A warning shot, if you will. If you're going to support me, that's great. But if you're going to support me hoping that I'm not going to screw with you over wacky ideals, that's wrong. That's just not going to happen. Like I said, you're just making it easier for me to find you. So, for everybody else who's watching this, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you learned something. I hope maybe you'll comment in the sections wanting to argue with me about the point. I think that would be great. But for the one person who this is more or less addressed to, stop your shit. So I've been making more and more videos, and the more and more videos I make, I'm starting to get dinged for copyright and stuff like that. Apparently, the way the YouTube system for copyright disputes works is a company who owns the copyrights to a video will send me a monetization hit, and they will take my monetization. If I want to dispute that, I have to put in a dispute, which then goes to the source of the material, and then they can decide whether or not they agree with my dispute and whether or not to give me back my monetization. Nobody's going to do that. So, they're going to get the money off the video, and whatever. But I put some work into these videos. You know, I put a little effort and a lot of myself into this. So I think I should be able to get a piece too. So, I've been considering the Patreon method of getting patrons, where you give them a kind of private content. So from here on out, whenever I get dinged with a copyright dispute, I'm going to appeal it, and if they reject it, which they're obviously going to do, then I will privatize that video and post it to the Patreon page, and those videos will then become the patron-only content until I can come up with an idea for other patron-only content. This way, if you decide to become a patron, you'll get to have access to things that people who aren't patrons won't. But I also don't want to screw over my subscribers or people that really enjoy my videos that either can't or won't or can't afford to or whatever give me money. So, when I get hit with a copyright thing, I have 30 days to make a dispute. They have 30 days to decide whether or not my dispute is going to be okay with them or not. So I will leave the video up for the duration of that. The video that I posted yesterday, they hit me with a copyright claim. I appealed it, and they rejected my appeal all on the same day. So this video will stay up for probably a week or two, something like that, so that a bunch of people can get enjoyment out of it, and then it's going to become privatized, and it's going to be patron only. Along with the coffee video that I did, I also have this video, which is a parody I made of a movie, well, a movie trailer, and it's discussing toxic whiteness. I thought it was funny. Another video that I have up there is me discussing rape culture, a response to Marina Shut Up. This is actually kind of a funny one. She dinged me with a copyright, or the company she works for, or whatever. Somebody dinged me with a copyright, and then somebody else came along and flagged it as inappropriate for monetization. So that kind of made me giggle, because now nobody makes money off of it. Ha ha. And then one that really upsets me is President Obama's farewell speech. I got dinged on that one for the music that I have in it. I really like this video. I'm upset that it's not really open to the public anymore, and I'm still trying to figure out whether or not I even want to screw with it with that one, because I think it's important enough that people should see it. So I don't know about that one. So, I mean, there's problems with me with this too. I don't really like the idea of it, but there should be a better reward than I'm going to say, hey, you're donating $1 to me. That's pretty awesome of you. Thanks. In a video, and then that's it. There should be something special for people who are going that extra mile to help support me. But this one got dinged. They've already been upset with it, and it really doesn't look like they're going to let me have it back. So it also is going to go into, like I said, maybe a couple weeks from now, it's going to go into the private patron playlist. So there you go. Trying to provide more for you in the degrees in which you're supporting me. I'm doing my best here. I never went to college. I'm not really a business major. I just kind of think of what I'd like to see, and I don't know, fuck people that want to take my money from me. You know what I mean? Like, if they're going to take the monetization from it, fine. If they're going to be dicks about it and not recognize that it's a parody or that I'm doing a satire or a commentary on something, that it is actually fair use, then fine. Then if you want to make money off of it, great, but I get my cut first, and it's going to come from people who want to patronize me on Patreon. So suck a dick. That's pretty much all I have to say. Comment in the comment section, please, if you have any ideas for me or anything like that. I really don't want to dicker around with these people because all of the power is in their hands. Like, if I dispute an appeal, then they can say, fuck you, you're really pissing me off, and they can ding me with an actual, like, copyright hit, which will limit my ability to do YouTube. And I don't like that. So I'm not really going to fuck with these people a whole lot. But I'm going to fuck with them a little. Because, I can. And I probably can't, and I'm probably going to get in trouble over this. I don't know. We'll just have to see how everything plays out. Like I said, comment if you have anything to say about this in the comment section. And, yeah, have a good day. Bye-bye.